Hi there. My name is John Seiple, and I am going to be your son or daughter's Introduction to Psychology teacher this fall for class. This is the 2021 school year, and we're going to do a virtual open house here tonight. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking a little bit about myself, a little bit about the course, my expectations, my teaching philosophy, as well as the expectations I have of your students. So hopefully you'll get a lot out of this little presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at jsiple@lths.net. A little bit about my educational background. I grew up in a little town about 2 hours west of here called Freeport, Illinois. When I graduated from Freeport, I decided to go to a junior college, Rock Valley Junior College in Rockford, Illinois, where I received an associate's degree in general studies. From there, I was able to get a baseball scholarship and a football scholarship to play at Western Illinois University, where I got a bachelor's degree. I was a double major, and I got a degree in secondary education as well as a degree in psychology. After I graduated from Western, I was fortunate enough to get a position here at Lyons Township High School, and I've been here for 30 years. You'll see that in the next slide. A couple of years after getting hired here, I decided to go back and get a master's degree from Benedictine University in Lisle, Illinois. After receiving the master's degree, I've collected hours over the past several years, 60 hours above and beyond a master's, which in education is equivalent to a doctorate degree, just minus the dissertation. I received those hours through St. Xavier's online course program. Like I mentioned a second ago, this is my 30th year teaching. Fortunately, they've all been here at LT. I have also been a guest lecturer at St. Xavier's University in the Connecting Link program, in that online teaching program where I collected those hours. So I've been able to teach there as well. Some personal interests. I love my job. I think teaching is a wonderful profession, and then above and beyond else, teaching psychology is just I got the topping on the cake. But I also love my family and love being with them. And so when I'm out of school here, I tend to spend a lot of time with them. They're both in remote learning. My daughter, which is right next to my picture, is 12 years old. She is a 7th grader over at Gurry. So she's missing out on that first time where she can move from class to class. And I think she's a little bummed out about it. She hasn't really shown it yet. But I think she's a little bummed out about it. And then my son's in 5th grade. He's my math genius. He loves the analytical problems. My daughter is more of the musician / creative person. She can hear music and just play it on the piano in about 2 minutes. She figures it out. She's really, really good at that. When I do get some free time at home, I do like to read. Anything by Malcolm Gladwell, from Blink all the way to What the Dog Saw, are excellent books. They're all psychology, personality related, and they are wonderful. And then the no-brainer go-to books that just make you feel good about life are Mitch Albom books, and I've read every one of those books on the screen. Plus, I've got about 3 or 4 more of his. In the free time, if I ever have anything after that, I do like to golf. However, I haven't golfed all summer, simply because I didn't want to be out and away from home for the extended period of time. When I am around the house, I do like to tinker in the yard. You can see the garden in the background there. My wife planned it and I planted it. So there. My teaching philosophy. Like I mentioned, I'm a former athlete who was fortunate enough to get his college schooling paid for. And I took advantage of that. That's why I've got that double major. And I know how difficult it is to try to balance things. And in this remote learning environment, the balancing act is crucial because we don't have the same amount of time as we do in a regular classroom, and we have longer class times. It's an irony there because we don't have them every day. And so those off times, they really need to be utilized properly. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And I'm a former coach. I coached football here for several years, baseball, as well as golf. And as an athlete, as a coach, I love consistency and routine. The same thing every day is comforting to me. I don't want to say it's exciting, it's comforting to me. And I want it to be comforting to your students. I want them to know that when they're coming into class, they know what to expect. Nothing is going to get popped out at them. So I am very predictable in my lesson planning. Another teaching philosophy, and I truly believe in this, I believe every student has the ability to be successful in the classroom if they work hard at it, okay? We may not all be the same intellectual level, but when you work hard, you can balance the playing field. And that, I think, is a really important concept and statement that I try to emphasize to your sons or daughters, is that if you work hard, you're going to be successful. If you have questions, if you don't understand something, that open line of communication between myself and the student is huge. I've had 8 to 10 personal Zoom calls in the first week and a half where I would talk to a student, talk them off the ledge, especially I've got a couple of AP classes. I talk them off the ledge because they think they have to do too much. And I've had several introduction to psychology students who've said, I just don't understand exactly what this means. And so I was able to, on a personal note, talk to them and discuss with them. It's clearly not the same as it is in the classroom, but we've got to do the best that we can with what we have. And so that email, I've put it several times in this PowerPoint, jseiple@lths.net, is the way to contact me. And then as parents, if we want to set up a Zoom call, we can always set up a Zoom call. And that can be after hours as well, just so I know when we can connect with each other. My course goals for Introduction to Psychology are not necessarily education or classroom related. I want my course goals to focus in on the students. If you see in the lower left-hand corner, that is our psychology book. Your students should have that at home. We've already had 4 or 5 different readings in there over the last week, and we'll have more throughout the semester. But my personal course goals are to have your student leave this class wanting to learn more about psychology. By doing that, they can take an AP class if they're a junior. Next year, they could take LT's AP psychology course. If they're a senior and they go to college, they can take psychology courses in college. If your son or daughter doesn't go to school, I think if they can take the information that we learn in the classroom and utilize it in the real world where they're at, whether they're working or going to school or doing both, or having a family in the future. These things that we talk about in class are useful for them later. Those are my course goals. You can always look in the course syllabus and the curriculum map that we have to look and see exactly what we're looking for to do in class. But to me, these student-related course goals are as important or more important. Grading practices. I know it's one thing that a lot of parents always are looking at and trying to figure it out. I can tell you in the Introduction to Psychology program, we're going to be focusing on 3 skills throughout the semester. We're going to focusing in on designing and identifying research methods. We're going to apply the terms in psychology to the world around us. So we'll give them a term and they have to adapt it to a real world scenario. And then analyze behavior. So they'll look at the real world scenario and analyze why did they do that using the terminology that we're discussing in class. We're going to practice these over and over and over again and ultimately assess them on 3 different tests as well as the final exam. So they have 4 opportunities to show what they know. And I can tell you in the Introduction to Psychology class, it sounds like there's not a lot of tests, but it gives them the opportunity to really, really be successful, because those practices that I talked about a second ago are the test questions. We just interchange the terminology. The test questions are always the same, okay? So whether they're practicing or assessing them, they're not going to be surprised about anything that they see in this class, okay? Formatives are simply the practices. They're not graded. We're not giving them points for anything. And in the next slide, we'll talk about how we grade. But the summatives are going to be 3 skills on the 3 separate tests, as well as the final exam, with the final exam really being an opportunity to show what you know overall, so it can increase the grades from previously. Our grading scale, we're not working with numbers, we're not working with percentages. We are working on an A through F grading scale. So when your student does a test, you're going to see on Infinite Campus an A, B, C, D, or F. In the curriculum map and in the syllabus, it explains how all that works itself out. But the students are going to be aware of their grades throughout the semester and know exactly where they are. And if they want to improve their grades, they can always reassess, but they still have to do extra homework, extra activities, extra things to show that they are learning what they missed. So how class is going to work. Like I said, I love the routine. Students can expect similar things every day, just different terminology and different articles. And I put an example of an article here. So please feel free to click on the article. The article is about, and I'll get to it here real quick. Just a simple one. It's only a page and a half, 2 pages. It took about 5 minutes for the kids to read the other day. Eating fish weekly improves kids' sleep and intelligence. And so we were talking about this, and in this case, what we were looking at was, what type of research is this? Is this a case study? Is this a correlational study? Is this an experiment? And so we're asking them to do that. Plus, I think it's really getting them some good information just in real world scenarios on eating healthy and having it beneficial to your health. Okay, so those are the kinds of little articles we're going to show over and over again. Okay, students are going to be writing independently. They're going to be breaking out to self-assess their writing as well as peer assess. They're going to look at other people's writing and say, "Here, I would actually put this in," or "I think you did a really good job writing about this." And they'll be using the scoring rubrics that are the grading rubrics for the test all the time. The one new thing is going to be Canvas discussion boards, where the students are going to be able to share some ideas and viewpoints on the terms that we discuss in class. I think that really becomes an intellectual activity when they can see other people's viewpoints and use them to help benefit their knowledge. I think it's going to be a really, really good addition to the course. Okay. I'm getting on to my last slide here, so please bear with me. I love to talk, and I apologize for that. But most of the work that we're going to do in this class is going to be done during the class period, with the homework simply supplementing. We might give them an article to read, or they might have to do an activity in class, something to that effect. But the thing I want you to understand, as well as your students, is that the work needs to be completed. We don't have the same amount of time in here as we do in a regular classroom. So we need to utilize that outside time that the school is calling asynchronous time to our advantage. Okay. I know it's hard to participate in a class discussion. I'm sure over the last 10 minutes here, you've noticed I've stuttered a little bit. I'm a little nervous trying to do a presentation with nobody here. It's just not the same. I know it's difficult, but if we can get them into the class discussion, I can see what they know, what they don't know, and how to help them a little bit better. With the Zoom etiquette, the kids know the first three. I would emphasize that third one, which is the video on. There are a couple kids who say that they don't have videos. They say that their video is broken. We need to see them. I need to see them to see that they are in the class at the time and they are interested in the class and focused in on the class. And one thing for you guys as parents, if to limit the distractions as much as possible, try to have maybe a student schedule of when they're in class, when they're Zooming, when they have dedicated homework time. These things might be really beneficial to limit the distractions, because the 75 minutes that I have with them on Tuesdays and Thursdays go by so fast. It's amazing. We go through 3 or 4 things and I look at the clock and we've only got 15 minutes left. It's surprising how quick it goes. So we need them to stay as focused as possible, as long as possible. So as I finish up here, please feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, any concerns, please, we're all in this together. All you have to do is email me at jseiple@lths.net, and I can get back to you via email. And if you want a Zoom meeting, we can always, have a Zoom meeting with you. Whether that is before school, after school, we can get that done. So thank you for your time. I apologize because I probably went over the 10-minute time limit. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some information about the Introduction to Psychology course. Thank you.